Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Hendo here, and we are going to be doing a mock draft 1.0 on the Rogue Pod. Now, I had a mock draft plan for the other day, but as I was recording, Lamar Jackson dropped his bombshell about wanting to be traded. So that made me have to go back into the lab and reassess things as I think that the Ravens should do with this draft going forward. Now, we only have 5 picks, but here we're going to try to make these 5 picks work. They're going to count for something and mean something, and there may be a surprise at the end. So stay tuned and check out what I have going on for mock draft 1.0. With the 22nd pick in the first round,
the Baltimore Ravens select
Hendon Hooker, quarterback, Tennessee. Now, Hendon Hooker was generally rated the 5th quarterback in this draft class. So I think he may possibly fall to the Ravens. They may have to trade up a couple of picks to get him. But with Lamar leaving, that leaves a gaping hole at the most important position on the team. Now, with Hendon Hooker, his strengths are he has a quick release and a live arm with good accuracy and an ability to get the ball downfield. He's accurate on intermediate and short throws and shows anticipation and placement and the ability to lead receivers on deep throws. He has the ideal height for the position, being listed at 6'4", and even with him being that tall, he can run the ball, something that you'll probably need in a Ravens type offensive scheme. Now, I know that we signed Todd Monken to be our offensive coordinator, but the philosophy of the Baltimore Ravens will never change as long as we still have the gentleman in place in the front office. Now, Hendon's a really smart player, a high character guy who can become a natural leader if need be. Some of his weaknesses, this is something that can be addressed with a competent quarterback coach and offensive coordinator, unlike the likes of what we've seen for the past few years here in Baltimore. One of the biggest flags on Hendon Hooker is he suffered an ACL tear on November 19th, and his availability will be in question. Will he be ready to start the season? Will he be good to go during OTAs? Can he get together with his teammates, learn his offense, and get the timing down? That will be the biggest question in bringing Hendon Hooker in. But options are limited if we don't get a trade done and bring in somebody else to replace Lamar. Another thing is he'll be 25 come draft day, which is 1 year younger than the previous starter that we had for the last 5 years. So that may be a concern going forward. But he has a similar play style to Lamar Jackson, so that might hold up well. With the 86th pick in the 3rd round of the NFL draft,
the Baltimore Ravens select
DJ Turner, defensive back, Michigan. DJ is on the smaller side at corner, being just 5'11", but the kid can fly. Plus, he is very familiar with Mike McDonald and his defense, so that's always a plus because with the nepotism running around with this team, they love to bring in players or staff that they're very familiar with. Now, some of Turner's strengths are he is super athletic and had an outstanding final 2 years at Michigan where he allowed a QB rate when targeted of 62.2%, which is very good for a cornerback, especially having to play the likes of Ohio State. He can flip his hips and run. He has the speed running a 4.26 40 and a little bit of length to make plays on the ball. He can run and blanket even the fastest receivers deep, possessing great instincts along with good timing. Even though he may be on the smaller side, he is an excellent tackler and a sturdy tackler and constantly wraps up ball carriers, something that the Ravens have struggled with from time to time. Now, he has the fluidity, speed, and quick feet to come down and defend slot receivers in man coverage. He also does a nice job breaking down in space. He has the ability to cover quick receivers underneath. He has a high football IQ and studies the quarterback's eyes, enabling him to jump routes. Does that sound familiar? Sounds like somebody we know and had, and we could still have, but I digress with that. Some of his weaknesses are that he does much better in man coverage. He's not too comfortable in zone. His feet aren't ideal as he can get sloppy in his back pedal and sometimes look sluggish when transitioning to close in on the ball. He only has limited length, being 5'11", and will struggle against taller receivers, especially in jump ball situations. He's not much of a ball hawk, as he's only made just 3 interceptions throughout his college career. Some scouts will see him as a nickel or slot cover corner, but he's not big enough to hold up on the edge, despite playing that in college. He draws a lot of flags, which is not a good thing, and that will not sit well with John Harbaugh, which will get him benched immediately. So with the right coaching, I think he may be a decent number 3. We may have to find someone to come in and be our number 2, but I think as a second-round pick, he has plenty of upside and may work well with the Ravens. With the 124th pick in the 4th round of the NFL Draft,
the Baltimore Ravens select
Raheem Jarrett, wide receiver, Maryland. Now, I know, this is another sub-6-foot wide receiver for the Ravens, but I think they're tired of letting area talent slip through their fingers, go elsewhere, and shine. I think that they say, hey, this is a year that we finally take somebody from our backyard and insert them on this team and have them do well. I mean, it can't hurt to bring in somebody locally, because you also bring in new fans with that. You bring fans from that college, you bring family, friends, and we're going to need it if we lose Lamar, because those ticket sales are going to dip. Now, some of Jarrett's strengths are he has great hands, he catches the ball fluidly on most throws, and is ready to make plays afterward. He catches in traffic, and he can even go over taller defenders. He has the straight line speed to stretch the middle of the field and consistently runs away from defenders, something that we haven't seen too much recently. He shows elite initial quickness off the line of scrimmage and has just enough strength to beat press coverage and jams on this level. He fights his way off the line of scrimmage, shows quick hands, has violent hands, and very good balance. He's also a catch and run threat, a creative runner who has good vision in the open field. Now, he may also be used as a kick returner. I know that we have Devin Duvernay to do that, but maybe we want Devin to focus solely on receiver so he can kind of hone in on his skills. And this just gives us another option just in case that can't happen. With the 157th pick in the 5th round of the NFL Draft,
the Baltimore Ravens select
Andrew Voorhees, guard, USC. With the departure of Ben Powers to the Broncos and the uncertainty of Ben Cleveland staying healthy, the Ravens need to invest in a guard that can possibly start now or take over in the future. We also need to plan ahead for the inevitable of Kevin Zeitler moving on. It's going to be now or later. We just don't know, but we should have his replacement in tow just in case. This could also be a slot where we draft a tackle, but the O-line needs to be addressed somewhere with this pick. Some of Voorhees' strengths are he is 6'6" and 310 pounds. He is a big boy. And we know the Ravens are a height, weight, and speed team, and he definitely fits that mold. He is versatile and experienced as an offensive lineman who has played all 4 positions across the line, except for center during his collegiate career. He bursts off the line of scrimmage and has natural strength and power to dominate at the point of attack. He has a naturally wide base and good length, long legs to cover a lot of ground with his initial kick. Overall, he is a major asset in the run game, has a super strong anchor, and moves very well laterally. He is effective when asked to pull, showing agility, speed, and range to get out as a lead blocker. Now, as a pass protector, he plays with good balance and holds up against bull rushes, has strong hands, and does a nice job of gripping and latching on once he has his hands on a pass rusher. He has a powerful lower body and enough leg drive to knock defenders back at the point of attack. Some of his weaknesses: he needs to improve his inline straight ahead blocking in the run game. He can sometimes struggle to stay engaged, especially on the second level, because his hand placement can get sloppy. He'll have some trouble with quickness as a pass rusher. He needs to make better use of his hands, and he often stops his feet once he makes initial contact. He will be 24 years of age as a rookie. His arms are a little short to play on the outside. His foot speed is just average and often plays too tall, resulting in him losing leverage. He doesn't have ideal coordination between his upper and lower body, but he is super strong. So is that going to be enough for him to kind of take over the range and be a starter this year or down the line? Now, I know these traits are similar to what Ben Cleveland has. Are we having a Ben Cleveland clone? Can this guy stay healthy? With the 199th pick in the 6th round of the NFL draft,
The Baltimore Ravens select
haha, Stetson Bennett, quarterback. Ravens normally double down on a position of need, and depending on what happens with Lamar, this may be a real need. But you know what? 23 years ago, there was a quarterback drafted with the 199th pick. Can you guess who that was? Yes, Tom Brady. Could this be the second coming? Some of Stetson Bennett's strengths. He has firsthand knowledge of running Todd Monken's offense. He has good arm strength and can make most NFL throws. Picks up yards with his legs when needed and has enough athleticism to avoid pressure and buy time. Stetson possesses very good balance, elusiveness, and is deceptive with his speed as a runner. He has a very quick release. He will step up in the pocket while looking downfield and reset his feet to deliver. He's a natural leader who has been well respected by his teammates. Now, a few of his weaknesses are that he often holds the ball too long. While keeping his eyes up and moving, his mechanics get increasingly sloppy once he's pushed off his spot. He's on the smaller side. He's pretty diminutive, and he's just 5'11 at 190 pounds. So he may struggle to stay healthy when not playing behind a dominant line. He may not be able to see over taller offensive linemen, but that had not been a problem for Drew Brees, who was around the same size, given an inch or two. His arm strength is decent, but less than ideal. He lacks the zip, and accuracy can become an issue when he's unstable or unwilling to set his feet. One big factor may be he is 25 years old and will become 26 during the season. So he may not be the long-term answer, maybe just a stopgap until the Ravens can recoup and go. And that is the Rogue Pod Draft 1.0. I thank you for dropping by. I hope this gives you an idea of what the Ravens need. I hope I did okay. I'm not really that proficient in draft analysis, not my forte, but I give it a shot. So hopefully you've been entertained. Like, subscribe, make sure to share this content, and I'll see you next time.